Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and in this episode we are checking out the new RotorSim R44. Now, as you guys know, this was a freeware aircraft that previously relied on Airland FS to run in the background in order to make it work. Well, now it works completely natively. Let's check it out. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides or simply interested in supporting the channel, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides as well as any future guides that come along down the road. Patreon link can be found in the description below, and thank you to all of my current subscribers. Okay guys, so the RotorSimPilot R44 or RotorSim R44 was an amazing helicopter when it launched for Microsoft Flight Simulator. The developer did an absolutely amazing job bringing this helicopter to the simulator. But one of the things that was a requirement was a third-party application that some of you may know called Airland FS. Airland FS had to be running in the background with a very specific configuration file running that would then inject the flight dynamics of a helicopter and into the simulator, enabling it to function. Well, with the release of Sim Update 11 and now the supported natively supported helicopter functionality, RotorSimPilot has updated his helicopter to no longer require it. So this is going to be our first flight. This is also in Microsoft Flight Simulator Beta, guys. So an add-on aircraft that is, as so far as we can tell, working. Let's go ahead and jump into the cockpit and take it for a flight and see how it performs and if we see any major issues based on being the beta or based on simply using the aircraft natively. All right, let's go ahead and go for a little flight here. A lot trickier than I remember. There she goes. And the texture work that he's done has always been spot on. So everything outside of the aircraft and inside the interior has always still remained the same. And as you can see, it's just absolutely a beautifully done helicopter. He really did a great job with it. This was one of the first helicopters that I truly found myself getting very immersed in. It is a blast to fly. It's very forgiving. It's a good starting helicopter. A little jolty, on the start, but honestly, they all are. Picking the helicopters up from the ground is always, in my opinion, probably one of the hardest things to do and do smoothly. But no issues whatsoever. It's smooth as glass so far. No major performance problems. It's performing well. Flight controls responding very nicely, very fluidly, and very expectedly, I think, is the bigger thing to focus on, is it's doing what I'm expecting it to do. Let's just sort of get into a sightseeing mode here. Look at this beautiful parking lot. Isn't that just a gorgeous parking lot, you guys? Just say, I mean, this is a marvel of a parking lot. How can you ever ask for more of a parking lot than that parking lot right there? It's just the best parking lot ever. And I hope you guys are really paying attention to actually how the helicopter's performing. Trying to do sort of a rotation on point here. Now, obviously, I'm not the best at this. But it's manageable, and I'm understanding how to do it. A little bit of right anti-torque, a little bit of left on the main rotor. Trying to match the collective. Now, I'm not getting the nose around, but we're doing a pretty good job of circling the point that I'm trying to circle. Let's gain a little bit of altitude here. And let's move on from our incredibly gorgeous parking lot. It's flying very nicely. This is a really great little helicopter. And by the way, this is completely free on flightsim.to's website. And now, again, with him The developer no longer having it no longer require Airland FS. That's one less confusion point. That's one less point of failure. Now you just get to drop it into your community directory just like anything else and go for a nice flight. Its large open window canopy, or cockpit I should say, makes it a ton of fun for sightseeing. I think one of my favorite things to do in this particular aircraft is, you guys probably guessed it, fly around the Caribbean. I love going around the Caribbean islands in the helicopters. I can really get down low and see it and get into the water. But I also love tooling around my hometown. Now, the stuttering you guys might be picking up on, that's the actual sim. Since I did my reinstall of Windows a couple days ago, I haven't reinstalled all of my resources that manage the CPU priorities. So some of the stuttering has come back. But for the most part, you can tell it's running pretty nicely, actually. I've been fairly happy with the simulator since I did a reinstall. I will give you guys this. If you're like myself, to touch on that for a second, if you're like myself and you find yourself constantly installing applications, uninstalling applications, trying this mod, trying that mod, trying this change and that change, and does this tool work and that tool, you know what I mean? After a while, that stuff really starts to build up and it leaves garbage behind and starts to, you know, in many ways starts to impact some of the performance. And I think simply just doing a nice clean install every now and then, guys, even though it's a pain in the butt, is really worth it, because I did notice a performance difference in the way the sim was performing, especially if you're on a lower end machine. Now, I am lucky enough that I'm not what I would call on a low end machine by any means. But that being said, like I said, I did notice a pretty significant performance difference, even in just the way it loads. And then, of course, again, not as much stuttering as what was experiencing before I did my install. So it really does make a difference, guys. It's not just about Microsoft Flight Simulator. Just doing a nice clean Windows install every now and then really does make a difference. Let's get a nice peek at A Mountain here, also known as Sentinel Peak. So a lot of the times the students and staff from the U of A will come up on the mountain and paint the A different colors. There used to be a rivalry. The rivalry still exists, but students from ASU, or Arizona State, used to come down and paint the A different colors. We'd go up and paint theirs different colors. It was pretty funny. That is a retired, obviously, volcano down there. It's pretty cool. The aircraft really is handling well, guys. I'm really impressed by this. This is really nice. They've really done an amazing job with this aircraft. I remember when he launched the first rendition of this aircraft, it was very... the textures weren't near the quality that they are now. And... This is such a fun bird to fly. It's great in VR too, by the way, guys. The virtual reality performance of this helicopter is fantastic. Absolutely no issues whatsoever. And I run for VR, I run a Pimax 8KX. So if that helps any of you guys sort of get an idea of where I'm running. And I use it in the large field of view mode, so it's got a 240 degree field of view. Not quite 240, but that's what the description will tell you. The I-10 interstate there. We'll head down towards my old stomping grounds and then bring in for a landing at TIA. Trim controls and everything like that work absolutely fantastic on it. Very simple. I think that's the beautiful part about this helicopter at the end of the day, is it's simple. Not a whole lot of bells and whistles to it. Very much so you're in the practice of just flying your bird. Which I'm sure that's, you know, sort of the base idea there with training aircraft, right? And I know it's not just a trainer, but I've seen it used pretty commonly as such. And the RSP RotorSimPilot, you can see the branding down there on the floor mats. Got an avionics screen up there. I just didn't turn it on. Didn't need it. We're just flying around my home. This guy right here, not sure what he's doing. Just, you know, forgot the coffee or something. I don't know. Nice early morning flight here in Tucson. My old neighborhood's still back over there to the east quite a bit, but we're close enough to the airport here. We're just going to bring her in. What's up, Bill? How's your day going? Okay, still mad at me because I made you pay for lunch. You're the one who lost the bet. Alright, what we got going on here? I think we'll just park it right over there with GA. Watching our vertical speed, trying to stay above 500 feet per minute. Nice steady descent. Watching that forward airspeed, still looking at about 40 knots, so we're gonna pull the nose up a little bit more. Oops. We're actually not allowed to park here. I just realized where we are. We're at the National Guard. The F-16s gave it away there. They might take exception to us parking out their ramp. They might take a little bit of exception to that. I never get tired of how beautiful the sim is. I will give them that. Gosh, it's a gorgeous sim. Will say I'm finally starting to get much more comfortable with flying the helicopters. I find that things are a bit smoother. I'm not quite as erratic as I used to be. There we go, just maintaining. I'm noticing a bit more stuttering as we're getting lower. That's alright though. That's alright though. What do you guys think? Think we can get it in the hangar? Should we try it? Oh yeah. You guys know what happens on Overkill's channel. I said it, we're trying it. It's just how it goes all the time. Ooh, such a bad time to be oscillating. Well, not the most graceful way to accomplish that, but I mean, I guess it worked, right? Let's see here. We got in there. I don't know that I would have tried it with anything bigger than that, but we got it in there. Alright, my friends, well, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to pick up the R44. Again, it's a completely free helicopter. You can find a link to it down in the description below, found on flightsim.to. Help out the RotorSimPilot if you guys are able to. Buy them a coffee, whatever it may be. This is a really fantastic rendition of this helicopter, and it's a really appreciated piece of work that's been brought to our simulator for completely free of charge. So again, that's the Robin R44 RavenII, guys, from RotorSimPilot, working in Microsoft Flight Simulator Simulator Beta using native flight controls, so you no longer need Airland FS, and no, it does not require the beta version to work. This works on just standard Sim Update 11. Anyways, as always, guys, stay safe and healthy. I'll see you in the next one.